And we're live. What's shaking, killers? What's going on, Siegfried? It's December 18th, 2024. Hanging out with Joey. I just sat down, so I'm like getting back into my notes and seeing what is actually going on. And what's up, Joey? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, good to be back.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about where you were in a second. Let's see if we can burn through the news here. All right, what do we got? Top of the hops is Onocoy. Yep. So they had a bunch of news. Tommy recorded a video pushing all of their news out. There's actually a couple of projects that put out a ton of news recently. So I updated my Onocoy antenna this morning. I've got a Calian VeraPhase and I put it to a VeraChoke. So the big fancy one, we'll see how that thing is doing. But they announced that there are 6 new hardware partners. They also reminded us that the double rewards campaign is running through the end of January. So if you got a Onocoy station up now, you're getting double rewards. And then they're delaying TGE till 2025, Q2 2025. I think that's probably a pretty good move. You'll be able to use your BONO for data streams soon if you're into that stuff. And they also increased their credential limit so you can run, I think, a couple of stations. That was pretty cool to see. Over in Anyone land, I think the cool news here was they put out a bunch of stuff about how they crush on marketing, and they do a good job on that. But they put this thing out. They said 5,000 unique commits on Github. And I just thought that was pretty cool. Like, there's so many different people pushing to Git. Joey, I see your eyes like, holy shit, I'll take 5,000 commits. Start pushing stuff, kids. Let's see. In Helium land, Return of the King, I saw that H&T is coming back. We've talked about this a bunch with 138. They're just making a big announcement. And then they also won this best Wi-Fi innovation at some Wi-Fi, conference. So I think that's rad. In Hivemapper, they've got more bursts coming in California and Arizona. So good to see that they're continuing to build out. Demo, this is one of those things that's like boring, but also big news, is the new governance is live for voting. I put a link down in the description to that if you need it. In Wingbits, they're one of the other projects, did a ton of news releases. Mainnet's coming out, so the beta tokens are going to equal the real tokens. There's going to be a 12-month distro on those. So just like WeatherXM, you're not going to get all the tokens you earned on day one. You'll get them over the course of 12 months post TGE. And then I think I'll probably get the math here, but if you keep your station up, you'll also get a 1.2x multiplier just for keeping your station up. So that was pretty cool. In Spexi, they are pausing because God bless the United States of America. We're all freaking out about these drones. And they said, "Hey, we're just gonna like take a knee on these drone
More.
guys for a
They should
while."
have done more.
Yeah, should have like leveled it up and like wave flags, but they didn't hire us for marketing, so they don't get that advice. And then they're gonna start back up in January. Over in WeatherXM, Manos is giving an AMA with a bunch of guys from Turkey at GMT +3. I haven't done the math on that. I think that's I don't know, sometime today. I think I'm GMT -8, so we're 11 hours different, and they're going to do it at 9. So it's at -10 a.m. So probably at the bottom or at the end of this show if we go for the full hour. Let's see, DABA. What did they have? They did the DY Cats thing. So Joey, so you and I as DY Cats owners, I guess we get some extra something or other. Well, we get a discount if we want to buy Wi-Fi DABA stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then the last thing that I had was the Silencio news. They raised a $2.5 million seed round, and they closed it. And that's a big deal, or big enough to get on the show, because it shows that these rounds are starting to close. I didn't thought that anyone would close anything by the end of the year, and that most of the world would just take off through Christmas, which is not what I'm going to do, but that's what most of corporate America seems to want to do, is just shut down until next year. So it's good to see them closing stuff. Yeah, that's it. If you like this and you're deploying deep in hardware, make sure you check out Flywheel Systems. There should be a link to them down in the description there in the bottom right of my screen. And Kevin does a ripping job deploying deep in hardware. I just hooked him up with some folks at Onocoy for the new station rollout. So we'll see if he can get those out there. And that's the haps. We did it in, what is it, Joey?
4 minutes.
Crushing. I think Max and I were talking about doing what do they call it? Reliving? No, it's resurrecting. Just searching for the word there. The DPU5, deep and under 5. And I think we'll start doing a super short show on Friday. But I'm not sure how we're going to beat that because that was quick. What's going on with you, dog?
Yeah. Standard, keeping busy. I was out last week just it was a vacation thing. So
Okay.
nothing too exciting from a, Helium standpoint. Usually I sneak off on some sort of thing and then I get to tell you I was at some conference. But
Did you do anything rad, or you just hung low, or you're not talking about it? It remains in the mystery of Joey.
I was hanging low. I did bring some LoRaWAN hardware with me to tinker with. I had the
Shocked.
Studio, what is it? SX1262 little
Okay.
module that they just came out with.
Cool.
Started playing around with LoRaWAN 1.1. So like most of the stuff we do is like 1.0.3.
Okay.
We actually found a couple little things that we can make some improvements on HPR. So if you're using the session key filter, which everyone should be using, the 1.1 payloads won't decode the MIC. It's a little different. And so we were probably going to make some improvements there so that all of that stuff comes through sort of seamlessly. The other alternate is when you submit those, you would sort of specify what version you'd be submitting. But I got to give a shout out to Disk 91. I was playing around with this library, was looking at the issues. Paul was already in there. And then I talked to the core contributor. I was like, hey, this is what we do. This is kind of what we're up to. And he's like, oh, this actually sounds awesome. Like, I thought I hated crypto, but you guys are doing cool stuff. Anyway, kicked off this whole conversation. And now we're like deep in the technical weeds, finding a solution to get 1.1 working on HPR. So
badass. And HPR is Helium packet router for the great unwashed.
Helium packet router. Yep, I always get too deep in the weeds on that one. And I guess this is the point of clarification. Like Helium as a network does support 1.1, but it's this specific thing that we've built into the routing that gives you a little bit more control that doesn't. So if you turn that thing off because it's optional, like those payloads would go through.
Yeah, badass.
Yeah. So that was my tinkering for the week.
I was got to tinker. What was I doing? I've been messing with the Helium grant. We're going back and forth in the contract about like who can share what after the whole thing's over, which is just like stupid word stuff. I don't think it's actually going to change anything. But I've learned that it's important to make sure that the stupid word stuff is actually very clear. So that in the unlikely event that the entire leadership of Helium gets replaced and I'm relying on this contract, I've got something that's super straightforward versus them saying like, hey, you got to take that down. I'm like, oh, whatever. So
yeah, I'm glad it's getting sorted. I'm sorry if it's a little bit of a pain. If you need me to,
No, it's good. I think the thing is that my guess is that council is like on vacation or out of office or something, and I'm working on the thing anyway. So it's just there's actually no difference to the delivery date of the whole thing because I'm just working on it the whole time. It's just that the timeline or the milestones will get compressed. So
sure, yeah.
But I have been learning a ton about zero trust stuff, which I think is relatively new on Cloudflare, and it's this Cloudflare tunnel piece. And the reason I think it's new is because ChatGPT doesn't know a fucking thing about it. And so I've got to upload all the docs about it to it so it can help walk me through it. But it's a pretty cool way to make sure that a device on your home network can kind of access the internet without getting totally spammed and penetrated.
Neat.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to dig into this. I haven't played with this either. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to those docs. I think every single IoT working group or chance I get, I'm telling people we need more just stuff out there explaining what it's about. So,
yeah, I mean, I've got a whole like list of ideas for grants, but it's like, I'll do this one first and get this thing done and then submit the next one because I've already got like 6 projects on top of the grant that I want to do that are non-Helium related. I just started this website for skimo training in San Diego. And I was like, this will be like super fun because no one else is doing it. And I'm like roller skiing up these hills. And I was like, I bet there's at least one other person in San Diego. So there's 1.2 million people in the city of San Diego. And I have a hard time believing that I'm 1 in 1.2 million. Like, I'm sure my mother would assure me that's the case. But for the most part, I'm like, I bet there's other roller ski people here, but I haven't found them online. It's like, all right, I'm going to build a website that's so good that when they look for roller ski in San Diego, they find it.
You made me explain HBR. You got to explain Schemo.
Oh, yeah, Schemo. The ski mountaineering. So it's this idea that here you go. That you put on these special skis and boots and the rest of it, and you race up a mountain, and then when you're going up, the way the boots and the skis work is that your heel is free. So and you have skins on the bottom of the skis, so you can ski uphill. You basically can point your skis straight uphill, move your foot forward, and the skins lock it in against the snow, so you can just like do this sliding motion up the hill. And then when you get to the top of the hill, you rip the skins off, you lock your heels in, and then you can ski down. And so for advanced practitioners, is you could traverse a whole mountain range doing this, and it would be a super cool and kind of fast way to cruise around the mountains. Yeah, like telling.
But unlike skiing, when you fall on snow, you're in rocks and pavement.
You could be, depending on what part you're skiing down. And the skis are much thinner, so the skiing is more technically difficult, but they're thinner because if I'm getting it right, you want the weight to be as low as possible going uphill. And these are like nerds who shave, I don't know, they're not called micro ounces, but whatever a smaller portion than an ounce is. Yeah, that's
grams.
What they do. Yeah, grams.
We metric.
No, freedom units. It's femto ounces is what they're shaving off. So, but it's a winter sport, so it's fairly popular in Europe and certainly across the northern U.S. and especially in the kind of Mountain West. There are big skimo or relatively big skimo communities, but here in San Diego there appears to be nothing, and so I'm going to change that. So I've got a super ugly website up right now called San Diego Skimo. It's just templates. You can look at it if you want. There's almost nothing there, but that was like a super fun thing to do, and I thought it'd be really fun to train ultra hard for it and then show up at one of these skimo races as a San Diego guy and then do better than expected. And that was my plan last summer, and then I injured myself and I haven't been able to train pretty much at all until recently.
Wow, that's fun.
So, yeah.
Huh, cool. I learned something today.
Yeah. And then, I gotta get a one wheel nerd. Yeah. So this is one of the things that I wanted, or that's like part of the whole skimo training thing, is in places where there is a skimo kind of infrastructure, is it's pretty easy to find a place to ski up and go down. Here in San Diego, it's all pavement or like super rocky trails and hills. And so in order to train a hill here or anywhere in the summer is you roller ski up it. And I got roller skis right here. I can go grab them and show you. So here's a roller ski. They're kind of long.
Oh, I've seen these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boot
Okay.
goes into these and then it locks in here. Whoops. And then the heel goes up in the back. So you typically will ski uphill to train, but these things are apparently super dangerous to go downhill because there's no brakes on them and there's no way to build brakes into them. Or there's some shitty brake things, but they don't seem to work very well. So typically what will happen is you'll ski uphill and then you'll either have a ride stationed at the top if you've got a super compliant partner, or you like stage a bike up there. But if it's a shorter hill, like I've only got a 1 mile hill and I've only got, I guess I could borrow my wife's bike, 2 bikes, but it's a huge pain in the ass to get them in the car. So I'm looking for, and this is where the one wheel thing came in. I was like, I should just buy like a bunch of shitty old foldable bikes so I can stage all of them at the top of the hill so I can do multiple rounds. So that's like one of my side projects.
Actually have a shitty old foldable bike. I think somebody probably like stole a car and then dumped everything that was in it. And so I found there was a foldable bike in the bushes.
Nice.
Don't know what to do with it. It might become yours.
Oh, great. I was thinking what I thought would be super cool is because, and I get it's not efficient, but because all I'm doing is going downhill, it'd be pretty cool to like have a scooter with a bunch of batteries on it and then do regenerative braking all the way downhill and basically like charge batteries because it's a 1 mile, like 400 foot drop. It's not a huge thing, but it's certainly all downhill. Like there's no flat space. And it'd be neat just to be able to recharge these batteries on a 1 mile downhill. So it'd be fun. But of course I'm driving back uphill on gas. So it's not like I'm saving the planet.
Turn you into a hamster wheel.
Yeah. Yep. So that's my Skimo Enterprise. And then let's see, the grant thing, I've been doing the tunnels. That's been super cool with Cloudflare. And then this is like almost a not PSA, but general announcement is that Cloudflare is fucking rad. I had no idea how awesome it was. And they now have, and this is I think it's pretty recent. You can register your domain there. which is pretty cool because then everything is like integrated into it. Like I launched that San Diego Schemo.com thing last night. I bought the domain and within an hour in ChatGPT, like it links to GitHub pages. I had GPT build me a little template. It's super ugly, but it made like the pages integration really easy. And then it was done. So, and then Cloudflare will also pay your registration if you were registered somewhere else and transfer you over.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
As a reminder that sauna sensor thing, which I've got the little light right over here, but totally running on Cloudflare, and you just kind of hack your way through it.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get in there and write a worker in Rust because like I don't write I can read a little bit of it, but I don't write Rust. And so I've been wanting to use it as an opportunity to learn Rust better through just having a project and like, powering through.
I did get a question about, I mean, if you have GPT, you'd know Rust. It's like, I know Kung Fu.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's how I want to do it. Basically, it's just like, hey, like write a worker that does X, you give it your spec and then you get a really quick demonstration of like how you would approach a problem like that. And it gives you a really nice basis to work off of. And then you can kind of tweak things from there.
Yeah. No, it's a rad thing. And Zim, I'm going to have him on at some point to discuss his top secret project. That's going to be the single greatest DeepIn ever launched. No pressure.
Good.
But I'm guessing that'll be in January because I was trying to get him on today and I got crickets. I've got this thing here that is an AM319. You can't see it. It's all fuzzy because the camera's got the bokeh bullshit on it. It's a MileSite, AM319. So it's like an 11 parameter indoor air quality sensor. So PM2, VOCs, CO2, temperature, pressure, humidity, all that stuff. What's up, Kevin? And a buddy of mine, Dirk, was reaching out to me. He's like, hey, do you have any indoor air quality sensors that you like? Like, what should I get? Do you think I should get this ambient sensor? And I hadn't realized that ambient is doing, maybe I should have because I do like weather and environmental stuff, but they're doing this crypto incentivized, I think indoor air quality network is what it sounds like.
Yeah. They acquired Planet Watch.
Oh, that's what, okay. And I missed that whole thing. I just claimed my Planet Watch tokens and then moved on.
Right.
Okay. Oh, so ambient claim, because the other thing I would like to do, like there's two projects I want to do. There's the driving projects are not that interesting to me, not because they're not cool, but just because I basically don't drive. Like I bike to work, which is half a mile away. I'll drive like the same route 3 times a week to get dry ice and treats and go visit the storage thing. But that's it. No, ambient, Travis.
Ambient.network. Okay, I got the link for you here.
Oh, there's a link. Look at you, Joe.
I can make that a little better for you. There, link clickable.
Can we do this? Ambient network. Oh, and then you're making it clickable for me in our chat.
Oh yeah, I guess people can't
is the
click on the
sauna
screen.
And that's HTTP or HTTPS?
It's HTTP because I didn't set up HTTP. It's a sensor on a sauna. It's fine. Nobody's hacking it.
Someone, Zim, do your worst. Get in here and let's see if we can crush this. Is the sauna hot? Like, see if you can make his sauna implode. Yeah, we need to teach Joey a lesson here.
Take it down. Show me break the internet.
Yeah, run up in that thing, Zim. Start having it spam out packets or whatever you hackers do.
I will literally give you like $100 if you could make that light color change, right? Like if
there it is. You heard it here first.
That would be
$10,000 of HNT on the line.
Show me it turned purple or something.
Yeah. We should have like a little inlay on your screen just the whole time, and we'll see like if it turns purple. Okay. Is it, and it's blue right now because it's too cold?
Yeah, sauna's not hot.
The sauna is not hot. Let's see. So the ambient thing, like the two projects I'd like to see, I would love to, and I just saw one of them, Enigma Fund on X posted about, it's like Big Sky Eye or something, but it's like a camera on your roof that looks up and checks out the clouds and like whatever's in the sky. And the idea there is that we get a map of the sky, and then you can use it for these silly fucking drone things, or for weather, or for whatever. That's one deepen project that I want to go figure out how to do. The last time I looked at that, those sensors, even if you built your own, were like $1,500. And for me, that was like, God, I got so many places to spend $1,500. I'm not sure a camera is the one thing that I want to do. And then the other thing that I want to put up on the roof is a really nice environmental air quality sensor. And Planet Watch would have been great for that. I spent a ton of money like everyone else on whatever the licenses were, like the whole ridiculous fucking scheme. And then it fell apart. But I haven't gotten back into it to see if that's still going or if that's still useful. So maybe it's time for me to revisit Ambient and see what's going on there.
And I mean, WeatherXM has a lot of that data too with their stations. So, and that they just did their developer platform or something. There's some announcement there. So
if only there was someone who is watching this who is the first person to be allowed to work in the, what is it? I'll let you talk about it there, secret person. But some kind of developer bullshit with WeatherXM, and they're crushing it.
Good.
But they don't have air quality, right? They've got pressure, humidity, wind speed, direction, probably something else, light, insulation.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like there's no CO2 or anything like that in those stations. So
yeah,
you're not getting a good proxy.
Which most people wouldn't care about. But I think it's one of those things where as I'm building this, like, pulling it back to this Helium demo dashboard project, is I've been thinking, how can I take all of the data that I'm collecting across the board? So all of the weather station data, all of the indoor air quality data, if I had outdoor air quality, sound level, like all these things, and put it together in some kind of cool dashboard, and then see, like, one thing that is, it's silly, but it'd be fun for me, is that my rainwater catchment system is only on the back half of the house. So it's like a 1,200 square foot house. At some time in the, 50s or 60s, they put on an addition to this thing. So there's like maybe 400 square feet of roof back there. And that fills up the 500 gallon rainwater cistern in like 2 rains. But what I'd like to see is take the rain sensor from WeatherXM, read how much rain is coming down, and then see how much that actually fills the tank and how fast it fills it. I know I could do all this stuff with, like, not even an Excel, but like an old school calculator, but I want it to happen automatically.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I mean, alternately, just stick a ultrasonic sensor on your tank and
so that I did that. So what I want to see is, that's the demo dashboard, is that there's an ultrasonic sensor on the tank. It's the same sensor I use for those vernal pools, and that measures the distance to the water. But what I want to know is, what is the exact and correct amount of rain that falls that fills my tank up X amount. So if I get an inch of rain, how much should I expect? Now I can go up and measure the roof, and I know that I can measure the roof and get that, but I would like it to, like, what are the actual measurements?
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I like it.
Are there no LoRa ghost sensors? I don't even know what this is.
Like looking for ghosts, I think. Is that what we've moved into, hon?
Oh. No, I was thinking of like sensors that are abandoned, like ghost fishing, ghost nets. But maybe
I'm sure there's plenty of sensors that are abandoned.
That's impossible. Who would abandon it? One Helium, like, go back to Helium grant stuff, thing that I want is a mapper that is dead easy to use. And I think the closest I've seen is the RAC 10701 and it should be super easy to use, have a screen, and be basically set up for all of these other deepen projects that are using Helium, like WeatherXM. Because the most common question that I got on WeatherXM was, should I use Wi-Fi or Helium? And it's like, well, use Wi-Fi if you've got it, use Helium if you don't. And then how do I know if I have Helium coverage? Yeah, you can look at the map, but the map isn't always correct. And it was like, oh, build a mapper. But mapper building is generally for nerds. And it's also, you can build the thing and not see on the screen when you hold it there, like, is this actually good for WeatherXM? Because what I've seen on the WeatherXM station I've got out at a paragliding spot is that it's good enough for paragliding. It's 88% like connection rate, but for whatever reason that doesn't meet the standards for getting rewarded. So it earns nothing because it's not able to send like a GPS lock. And if I had a device that I could buy and say build for $25 and then take it there, put it in the same place I'm going to put a weather station and let it sit there either for a day or for 10 minutes, and have it say on the screen like, yes, good for helium, or no, not good for helium, or this is your helium limitation, in a way that a normal person could understand, I feel like that could be pretty helpful. And I know this screen as a battery sucks him.
I could see just a fork of like some of the existing mapper repos for like the Heltex or something like that, where it's just like, just flash this thing on there, onboard it to Medio Scientific or whatever, and then put this endpoint and we'll collect the data and kind of tell you what you're dealing with.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with this thing, it's weird because it's not in a valley. It's up on a hill. Like, it's at the launch. It's got a view of all of San Diego. I think the only helium hotspot it doesn't see is mine, because there's a hill between us. And there's probably 20 miles of difference. But
Space Force might be messing with your GPS lock or something. I can't imagine why that wouldn't work.
It's weird. But yeah, it's one of those things that's bugged me, because I'm like, fuck, this thing is, I mean, it's super useful. The local paragliding community uses it all the time because they just check conditions there. And this is a place you could never check conditions before, because typically when you put something there, it would get vandalized almost instantly. And I've hidden this thing well enough, and I'm sure 619 can go out there and find it. But it's generally hidden well enough that you don't notice it if you're not looking hard for it. So that's been super cool. And if it goes away, my thing was always like, well, it'll probably earn enough tokens that I can just buy another one. But because it drops the GPS all the time, because here's the thing, the GPS like verifying like blob or data packet that gets sent out is so big that it doesn't always get received. And I'm sure you can explain this in the technical side of this, but basically, like, the way WeatherXM explained it to me is that you send out these huge, whatever, GPS data packets. If the whole thing isn't received perfectly, you don't get credit for it, because you're trying to prove this location. And because it's so big, and because there's probably not a helium hotspot nearby, there's definitely one within, I don't know, 8 kilometers or 6 kilometers, but there might not be one within 3 kilometers. It doesn't always get it. So.
I want to share my screen and give a little sneak peek thing if I can figure this out.
Cool. And Suburban Tommy and you might have something great. Let's chitty chat. Oh, how do I do this? Hang on, Joey. I'll figure this out. I gotta put my fucking glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Stand by.
Actually, some stuff, because I got a
new camera. Oh, let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just I'll hide a couple elements for you.
I think we can do Joey's screen. Enhance. There we
go. So your weather station is out.
It's almost right where you're. It's just below your mouse. It's like, I don't know, a centimeter below your mouse. If you zoom in, you'll see a lake, and it's just to the east of that lake, that El Capitan Reservoir. So it should be covered, and it's got decent coverage. It's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that
like
hotspot,
right?
I'm pretty sure I know who owns that hotspot. Yeah.
So these
good.
All of these. So first of all, work in progress. But this is coming. This is going to be a new thing for Helium. Each of these little orange dots is the location of a hotspot. And then this hex is just one of the covered areas. So we're seeing all of the hotspots that could possibly be covering, this particular hex. And then if you know some of these hotspots out here, take this one, for instance, we can grab, well, this one's got kind of a funny coverage map. But you can grab any one of these. And
so the one that your mouse is on is, I think that's Amateur Jade Hair.
AJ.
It should be that one up there, but maybe it's not. Oh no,
the orange dot.
Yeah, it actually should be higher than that. It'll be, I don't know, like 2 or 3 X's higher than that orange dot. I think that orange dot is either a bullshit one. No, yeah, the spare wolf.
It should be a real. There we are.
Yeah.
Yep. So we haven't mapped. So effectively, what's going on here? We see Amajade Air on the map. It hasn't been witnessed by a demo macaron, and so we haven't gone and done the model for it. It either hasn't been witnessed, or it looks like it's like misasserted based on the modeling, which I can't expect is the case. But
the other thing with this is because the latency is so bad on this, it never wins a witness race. So
for data transfer,
for anything,
yeah,
it's got 180 or something millisecond delay, and so when you look at Amateur Jade Hair on the Helium Explorer, it comes in like last or second to last on every single race.
Mm-hmm. Is it doing data transfer?
It gets them all the time. I mean, it's on the top of a 3,000-foot mountain, so you can look at it on Explorer and see like it is always getting them, but it never wins the race. Do you want me to hide your screen so you can look at it without giving?
Yeah, you can go ahead and turn this off.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to give a little bit of a sneak peek of what's coming in the new year. So get to
That's rad.
Analyze all the coverage of every hotspot, and then this scales out globally. And this is that stuff that Helium Geek put together using the demo macaron data and doing all sorts of cool stuff.
Badass. Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I sidetracked us on, of course, being selfish and talking about my own thing. But that like super cool tool to see. Hey, this is what it should be able to be covered at.
Yeah.
Okay.
That actually leads me into another one of my little bullet points here, which is the new helium.com landed last week.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah, we talked about it, but you weren't here. So I was like, hey, it looks, there were some parts of it where it said like only air. And I was like, God, I don't know about that. That like didn't do it for me. Like I get what you're trying to do. And I think if you're a telecoms guy or girl, you're like, oh yeah, I get you're talking about wireless, but the air thing was like, is this now like an ambient network, environmental network? So
yeah, my brain doesn't even go there, but I could see and then the other thing that I wanted to give a shout out for is I'm terrible with HIP numbers, but the CBRS trade-in stuff is live.
Oh, cool.
So I think it's live. I have to double check that. But if it's not, keep an eye out. But if you have a CBRS radio that has done activity within the past, there's a snapshot. You can go and redeem without sending in your existing CBRS radio and just get a Wi-Fi hotspot.
So I should have left my CBRS radios on. Shit. Sorry, Keenan. We're not going to get a free Wi-Fi one. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's all right. So keep an eye out if you're a CBRS operator. I think we're also probably going to do like a push notification to the Builder app. I'm not sure if we'll do the same into the Helium. I think we could do the Helium Wallet app. I gotta get into the details, but we want to make sure people are aware of that. So just kind of spreading the word on that front.
Oh yeah, no, I did. Dang it! It's funny. Lee was asking me about a CBRS radio that's just like it's unplugged. It's sitting on top of a shelf at the shop. She's like, "What is that thing?" I'm like, "Well, it's like useless now." She's like, "Well, should we sell it? Like, should we throw it in the trash? What should we do?" She didn't say should we throw it in the trash, but I was like, maybe we should throw it in the trash. But I'm trying to figure out like what I could do with that because I don't want to pollute the earth any further than this. Humans are already ruining this place.
So as part of the thing, and I wasn't part of this HIP writing, but they're gonna do a reset. So the CBRS hardware you can go onboard it like you just bought some raw hardware. So if you wanted to do some like point-to-point internet stuff, build your own CBRS telco, like whatever, like for folks that are interested in CBRS, it's great hardware to get your hands on. But then the little black box that comes with it, the computer part of it, it's a computer, so you can do whatever you want with that. Those are
there, so the FFI, so that's the Freedom Fi unit, and that is, I've got one of them, I think. Yeah, here, this thing.
Yep, that's the thing. That's got a LoRaWAN concentrator in it. It's a bunch of ports. Like you could do some cool, what's the thing people do with like home routers?
Yeah. Oh, and it does have because it's got what the 4 ports.
Focus,
you fucking camera. There you go.
There it is. Yeah.
PF Sense.
PF Sense. Yep, there it is. Thanks, sir. 619.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I wonder
So
if you can make
hopefully
that
we see
like
a bunch of those on eBay or something, because I will probably pick a couple up just for machines to have.
huh. And then what's the flashing procedure? Or do I have to just write in and say, hey, I've got unit, whatever this thing is, like H2 something 59, whatever, and say like, hey, release this thing? Okay.
It's just going to be, I think that part is automatic. Don't exactly quote me on that, but at
Joey
some
promised.
point in the timeline of it, they're going to send out some sort of like kill mode, basically, that just like refreshes all of those things to factory settings.
Oh, cool. So I just plug it in, let it sit there for an hour. It'll pick up this kill thing, or a day or whatever.
Yep, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Hip for details, but I'll yeah.
read, what is it? Read the fucking manual, RTFM.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And then 619, dude, if you want any of the, including, I'm sure Keenan would be fine with this, any of the CBRS radios I've got, let me know, and I will just set them aside, and you can have them. And then Keenan, if you don't like that, then we'll figure out something else. But it's sitting doing absolutely nothing on my side. And Travis said they're killing everything. I think, Travis, the answer here is that neither of us know, and the docs probably have it, unless Joe, you know.
Yeah. It's so the challenge. This is something I battled Mad Ninja on a little bit, but I was like, hey, how do we keep the IoT stuff going? And it's unfortunate. Yeah, Ed's got the number there. The private key, these don't have ECC chips, so it's not a hardware key. And so you can't do it's a trust zone thing. You can't do a hardware reset without killing the key that's also on there. So the IoT side of those gateways will also deactivate, unfortunately.
But you could use it to do your own IoT or build a data only.
Absolutely.
Like it doesn't cook the entire thing. It just stops it from doing Helium stuff.
Yeah, and that's my plan for mine. It's like I'm just going to go reactivate it as a data only.
Huh. Yeah, I should open this up. Maybe, Travis, we do a hacks on that if you haven't done it already. I don't know why my radio connector is super loose on this thing. But I guess you just, yeah.
And grant idea, a guide on converting your Freedom Fi to a data only would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
Teague,
right, well.
Nick, anyone? Yeah. You can guys rock, paper, scissors for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think this stuff here is, it's just who wants to do the work. And the thing on the grant is that it's a shitload of work. To explain it and do it is a shitload of work. It's like doing it is one thing where you don't have to do any camera stuff, or you don't have to explain what you did. What I'm finding as I do the dashboard thing, and not I'm finding, like this has been every single project I've done where I've had to explain it, is that not only do I have to do it, I will usually make like thousands of mistakes along the way. And I've got to remember to not include those mistakes, but also make sure that the person can get from point A to point X and skip over B, C, D, E, like which are all mistakes that I made, so they can have this like really nice experience.
It reminds me of that TV show. What was it? Les Stroud go out in the nature, and he'd show you his adventures or whatever.
Oh yeah, yep.
Survivor Man, is that the
Something
one?
like that, yeah.
But he'd have to hike everything twice, right? Because he'd go out, he'd set up the camera, then he'd come back, and then he'd be like, oh, here I am walking through the waterfall, and then go get his camera. Like that's basically what it is to write these tutorials. You do everything twice, and you redo and redo and redo.
Totally. Yeah. I set everything up just the other day, and then I was like, dude, I forgot how I did this one step. And so I wiped the entire thing clean and started over and like following my own directions, like, oh, that doesn't work. Like I must have missed some mistake I made.
Yep.
Can't you let ChatGPT 4.0 record it and explain? I mean, Siegfried, at this point, let me get you out of the way there, Joey. Like I've probably spent, I don't know, six hours just fucking around with this thing, maybe more. And that's like I haven't shot any video yet. I haven't done anything. So I don't know that I could record 6 hours worth of this stuff and then say like, hey, figure out what I did. GPT seems like it's really good at very discrete tasks. And so what I'm learning in Tinkart over on the AF group is super good at this, is like, hey, how do you break it? How do you break a big giant thing of tasks down to these really discrete things that GPT is amazingly good at, versus saying like, hey, write some docs for this thing, because it has no idea where most of us make mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was doing the sauna thing, I was like, should I just publish my conversation with ChatGPT? But there's just like so many, it's just garbage. Like
Yeah.
it would be such a pain for somebody to read through that.
Maybe not garbage, but it does take like a ton to go through and figure out like what is that was useful versus that what wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is the best Helium IoT connectivity expert in Northern California? I think the guy on the bottom of the screen here.
I was going to point to like suburban crypto or something.
Yeah. What do you like?
Yeah.
ADT, what are you doing? What can we help
Yeah.
you with?
What are you doing? I see some like spectrum thing on a presentation in the avatar there.
Oh, yeah, let me see if I can zoom that in. Oh, it's too hard for me to zoom in. Yeah, what are you doing? Let us know how we can help. And then I think the other thing is Travis, who's on here, Ill Peripherals, is going to be starting up his hacks video stuff again soon. I don't think he's
Cool.
made any kind of commitment. I'm just making the commitment for him.
Great. That's how we do it.
But that would be a super cool thing to do. Like whatever this ATD person needs help with, is the hacks are really, really good for that. I heard Holden Hawks. Yeah, Golden Hawks, yeah. But we don't do, Sim, we don't do the IoT connectivity stuff as much. It's more like I'm trying to get Max to come on and talk about what's going on in Deepin, because that dude has such a good grasp of everything so fast. Yeah, it would be super helpful if I could get him to get on camera and do like a 5-minute thing, because I learned a ton. I'm like, dude, what happened with HIP 138? And he tells me, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Cool. Like I wish someone would have just written that out in like the 9 sentences it takes.
Mm.
So,
yeah, we should get him in here.
Yeah. He's that guy. Getting him to get on camera is hard work. Travis, choice not given. No, yeah. If I worked for the draft board, there'd be more people at work. I'll tell you that. There'd be a shitload more people. Are we skipping the next 2 Wednesdays for State of the Networks? I don't know. Should we? Next Wednesday. It's probably some ridiculous holiday.
It's Christmas Day.
For people who believe in a thing that doesn't actually exist and there's never been proof of it. Yeah, Christmas Day and New Year's Day. I mean, we could skip the next 2, but I probably won't. I don't.
Yeah.
I just do whatever it is I want to do. So Christmas is not going to stop me from running this show.
I'll probably hop on too. I don't know. We could start doing some hacks type stuff. We can play around with something or show something off. It'd be fun.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's been so many different things I've had. Oh, I had an idea last night that I want to do. That's a betting thing. And it came about from the roller ski piece. Is right now it takes me, I don't know, like 12 and a half minutes to get up this hill. Super out of shape. I haven't done anything since early September. And I was thinking, I don't know if this exists. I imagine it must somewhere, but I want to build my own version of it. Is that maybe, Joey, you would get on there and you'd be like, dude, 12 and a half minutes, that sucks. Like, I bet you can't do it in 10 minutes, and I'll bet $5 you can't do it in 10 minutes. And so this would be like a website like Bet You Can't or whatever it is. You'd put $5 in, and the twist here would probably be that it'd be on Solana. So it's like easy just to throw cash around without like doing these micro transfer bullshit things.
Yeah.
You'd throw $5 in, and then if I wanted to take the bet, I would put the $5 up as well. And then once those two $5 things are in there, it's like, yeah, if you win or lose, someone's getting paid. Then there's maybe some other parameters like, hey, when does this thing start and how does it get done? But you could make it so that guys or girls could basically incentivize each other to work harder.
Yeah, I think Teague kind of nailed it, which is like this gentleman's agreements thing or whatever. Because like the hard part with betting, you look at like Polymarket or something, somebody has to be the arbiter of the outcome.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think we kind of talked about this when I was at Mountain Dow like 2 years ago. Like you just want to be like in a group of friends, throw like 20 USDC into something, and
yeah,
you know, at the end of the game, you like say like, all right, yeah, you won. You can like unlock it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of how it would be the easiest way to do it. Although when I talked to Marcus at XYO, I also thought, because he is like 100% sure that they've cracked the code of making sure a thing that is said it's being done at a place has been done at that place and time. And I mean, I was skeptical too, but I haven't looked into it. But he's super
Yeah.
certain of it, and that dude seems pretty sharp. So
Hmm.
certainly on the face of it, I'm trusting him. That'd be pretty cool to connect in, whether it's Helium or XY or something, is these different deepen projects, and say, hey, like I started at the bottom of the hill here at this GPS coordinate, and it was recorded somehow, and I stopped at the top of the hill.
Hmm.
And yeah, I guess it would be this gentleman's agreement, because it's like some asshole will get on a scooter and just hammer up there and be done in like 3 minutes, which is
Right.
not the whole point. But it would just be like, I mean, if it's you and me, Joey, like I'm not gonna cheat. It's like, $5
Right.
says I can. Watch me explode my heart.
Yeah, yeah. But what you don't want is to like throw those $5 in, and then some farmer throws another $5 in, sends the GPS coordinates, and steals your $5 or whatever. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's like a multi-sig sort of sign off thing there that, yeah, it sounds like Teague's built it. We should
Oh,
ship
cool.
this thing. The
Yeah.
platform can take like 2%, and now you got a little business, and people can be degens all day long.
Yeah. I mean, Degens is not where I'm going, but I like it. Ooh, Starlink. Ed's always on the Starlink thing. Helium
Oh
Mobile to
yeah.
Starlink. Is this coming, Joey?
No comment.
Hell yeah, it's coming, Ed. You saw it here first. Helium is looping in Starlink.
You guys just can't say anything.
Yeah. You can both agree on third party. Arbitrary. This is Travis's thing on the betting stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So Sean got her Starlink in on some Black Friday deal. So we've got to figure out what we're going to do with her in that, because I think it's one of those things where we're just going to kick the can down the road until the next emergency event and be like, oh fuck, we should have done this.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, I now that I'm back, like today, I need to put that stuff in a box. If not, like before the end of the weekend, get some stuff over to her, because she is the prime person to be stocked with that kind of gear.
Yeah, yeah, and she'll also help figure out like, okay, what's not super easy for a normal person, because she's willing to bang her head against things just
Yeah,
like me.
we're we're probably not going to like go full bore on productizing that thing,
Yeah, there's not a huge demand
because
for it.
it's there actually is. It's kind of
Really?
crazy. Like somebody should go do this, uh, but it's really a matter of focus. It's gonna it's gonna be a whole bunch of like, we have to get brownfield off the ground. We got to get a bunch of other stuff growing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that is as we sort of dug into that. Like there's tons of like NGOs that will buy this stuff. Like you could build the kit. You can be like, hey, this thing's $8,000. It's in a crate. It's ready to ship to you, whatever. And those people will buy it. Everything we did was free, but we had plenty of people asking.
Oh, maybe that's something that Brian Bowie could do
Mm-hmm,
at Parley Labs, because he's certainly got the
mm-hmm.
engineer chops to do it, and he's built out the infrastructure to buy and sell stuff. So
Yeah, he knows logistics. So yeah, there's some cool opportunities there. I'd be happy to like do a little bit of debrief with somebody if they were going to really take that on. But
yeah,
um, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but it's been cool to build that hardware. It's been really cool to see those things deployed. There's some press coming from the folks that we've worked with. It's really cool to see those impacts.
Cool. Section 9, I had a question about Helium Mobile and Starlink in disaster zones, how all that works, since it takes like weeks or months to get accepted. Is that accepted for like a Starlink piece? I haven't deployed Starlink. So I don't know if you have to say, hey, I've got a Starlink here. Now Starlink, will you accept that I've got an antenna? Maybe that's what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, it would be hard for the average person to like get one of these things and go set them up. You need to like talk to the team,
Oh, you have to
which
talk to
is
the Starlink
yeah.
crew.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
so
like in the case of the stuff that we sent out, they were on a special disaster recovery plan.
yep.
But if you were going to scale this as a business, you want to be in their enterprise program, and then you're making a commitment of like $1 million basically to buy hardware and stuff. And that's not all at once. Like you're saying, like, hey, this is our roadmap. This is how we're going to deploy these things. We're going to buy X number of these things in a year. Um, it turns out the minis are not a great choice for some of this carrier offload stuff. Like the throughput and ability of those is diminished compared to like the bigger dish.
Huh.
So
Travis has to
we've
get a
made a
mini.
lot of the minis are great. Like you should totally get one, and you can absolutely do what we did with all of the things, but no except
Oh, I think they're talking back and forth by like what it means to be accepted by Starlink. I mean, this seems like a decent little
yeah.
business, like you said, for someone to say, "Hey, I'll." I mean, the other thing I would think is if it was me and I really needed a job, I would approach Starlink and say, "Hey, let me run your disaster prep organization stuff. Like, you guys don't have time for this shit. I'll help vet the whole thing. I'll do all like et cetera, et cetera." Because this is like
Here's
such.
my
Yeah.
off-grid resume, basically.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and anyone who did off grids in Helium probably has the same or better resume than me on that. So, like, I would say this is open for anyone who did off grids in Helium. I would expect that you'll probably get denied, but it takes you what, an hour or two to write it up with ChatGPT and submit it and say like, this is what you need. I could do it. If you want a job, I've got enough jobs right now.
Yeah. Um,
So
yeah, their team is incredibly lean. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
cool organization.
yeah, yeah. There's a dude on X who builds robots, or builds like industrial automation stuff. And I started following midsummer. He had a video that went viral. He had like 6 followers, and within 3 days he had a few thousand. And it was like a thing making ice cream cones, and he built the whole thing. So like it mixes the ice cream part, and then it takes the cone and puts it in the right place, and then the cones come along and it goes down, deposits the ice cream goes along, like wrapped in a wrapper, all that stuff. And it was cool because he took you along for the ride of what he was doing in his life. And he was like, oh, I just applied to um, SpaceX.
Hmm.
And he ends up getting a job at SpaceX, and now his videos are like, hey, here's me driving to work. But it's pretty cool to see what's going on there. And he was saying that it's super rad to work there. But yeah.
Yeah, some big brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the concern is like getting the Helium hotspots activated for carrier offload.
Okay.
And in that case, like just talk to us, like talk to me. If you're out there doing disaster deployments and we have some mutual understanding around that, we can work with you. Just as some context, like the carrier offload is a relationship between Nova Labs and the carrier. As it's currently stands, like these carriers aren't their own, what's the term? They don't have their own carrier NFT. They're not paying for the stuff directly, right? Like they're
Right.
doing it via Nova Labs. So these are customers that work through that pipeline.
Yeah.
So right now it's Nova Labs' job to vet and submit gateways for carrier offload. And we do that in an automated way, but we also do have control over that process. So like when we do these disaster recovery things, we can say like, hey, carrier, take these 5 hotspots. They aren't going to be deployed in the way that you're like looking for, but we're not going to bill you for that data or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, in fact, this is not only a job but a business for someone. So if you're sitting there like, oh, the job market sucks, like it doesn't suck. You just have to work. And this is one series of steps you could do to get a job that'll probably last you for a while.
yeah,
If you like
yeah,
that shit,
yep.
which is cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
and
think
you get
that's
to get really nerdy about how all this stuff works, which is
super nerdy. Yeah.
really
I'm
good.
thinking like if that was a thing I would go after, I'd probably put together a resume, have GPT look at it, have GPT write like the basis of a letter. I like to write, so I'd then trash that and write my own letter and then send that out
That's the
to
way.
Nova Labs, Starlink, SpaceX, every carrier, and expect like 90% of those letters get ignored. But you just need one person to be like, oh, we could totally use this, and this person is a hustler. And then you're, as Zim says, you're off to the races.
And the best part, to the point of your ice cream guy, is he was out there building before those
Yeah.
letters. So
Yep.
like, I look at our community, and I already like pointed to Suburban Crypto once on this call, but like
Yeah.
the guy is like constantly tweeting, like I'm sending out, he's like doing it, right?
Yep.
And there's a bunch of people that are just hustling nonstop. Some people you get to see it, some people you don't.
Yeah.
I caught up with Green Metrics the other day. Like those guys have not slept. Like they have been busy, and they're like deploying stuff that I just like didn't even think they would touch this year. So
Yeah, no,
anyway.
there's if you're willing to work, there's an awful lot you can accomplish.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
all
Yeah.
right,
Good little like
good talk.
lessons on the call.
Let's see if you're watching this. Keep an eye out for I think we're gonna put it on the Deep in State, but there'll be a DPU 5, Deep in Under 5 with Max. I think we're recording that Thursday and either getting it out Thursday evening or probably Friday morning. And I'm actually super curious to see what the feedback is on that. I always like talking to Max, but we'll see if everyone else also likes it as well. So that'd be cool.
Cool.
Everybody,
Keep an eye out.
fucking AJ, we'll see you. If I don't see you next week, I will assume that you're celebrating Christmas. And if I don't see you the next week, I'll assume you have super trashed and hungover from New Year's. And then I'll see you the week after that.
Cool. Yeah, you'll probably see me. I'll be around.
Right on, buddy. All right, thanks for coming on. We'll see you later. We're out.
Yep.